Bowman here from BW1, and in this video I finally have for you an S6 review. So I know it's been a long time coming, but this video we're actually going to combine all of these into one review, and it's going to be the S6 versus S6 Edge versus S6 Active versus S6 Edge Plus. All sorts of S6s here, and I figured we'd throw them all into one video and give you sort of an idea on each one of them, and maybe this will help you in your buying decision if you're looking in the S6 family for your next smartphone coming up this holiday season. So without further ado, let's get to the review. So the way we're going to do this video is that we're going to go over each one of these devices and give you its similarities between the others and also its unique differences that make it different from one another. And hopefully this will help you in your buying decision when you're looking between all the S6 devices within the S6 family, which we have quite a few of these. Haven't had this many S6s in a particular series in a little while. But let's start off with the standard Samsung Galaxy S6. This is mostly the one you're going to be most familiar with. As you can see, it has a nice all metal and glass design, very premium build, has a 5.1 inch display here on the front of it. On the back, you have a 16 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, capable of 4K video recording. On the front here, you have a 5 megapixel camera as well too, capable of quad HD recording on the front of it. You have your little buttons here on the side. You have your power button here. You do have your SIM card tray. There is no micro SD card support, unfortunately, so you're gonna be stuck to whatever's built in terms of physical storage. It starts off at 32 gigabytes, which is nice. At the bottom, you have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and your speaker grill at the bottom as well too. Which, I'm okay with that. I'm not the biggest fan of it being there, but it's better than being on the back, I would say. You do have your USB port down here at the bottom as well too. And on the front here, you also have your home button, which also operates as a fingerprint sensor as well too. You can use to unlock your phone. Tap it just like that, and it unlocks the phone instantly. It's also support for Samsung Pay as well too, which all these devices support. 3 out of the 4 of these devices support Samsung Pay, I really should say there. Now, what's really cool about Samsung Pay is that you actually can use not only NFC-based payments, but you can use terminals that don't have NFC yet that have their magnetic strip. If it has a strip, you can put your phone right next to it and you'll be able to use that for mobile payments. And the Samsung Galaxy S6 devices, for the most part, all of these do support that. But the exception is going to be the Active. Now, in terms of software, you're running TouchWiz on here. Now, I have a theme on here because you can theme in the latest version of TouchWiz, so I used the Material UI theme, but I can go back to the default theme just like that. And we'll go ahead and hit apply. And it just takes a few seconds, and it will go back to the standard default theme that we're used to seeing on most Samsung devices, which is the TouchWiz UI. It's based on Android Lollipop that we have inside of here, so you're getting pretty much Samsung's UI pared down a lot, actually quite a bit from what we're used to seeing. Not as much bloatware. Things are a little bit easier to navigate and kind of determine between what is what, which is pretty nice. It's pretty cool. It keeps things a lot simpler. I would like to see them pare it down just a little bit more, but this is a good job so far. Now, keeping things running smooth in here for the most part is an Exynos chipset, which is an octa-core chipset. So basically, it has 2 quad-core processors inside of it, keeping things running nice and smooth. It's a whole lot of cores, keeping things running as fast as possible on here. And it's also got 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is really important because that keeps a lot of applications running, allows you to multitask and kind of switch between things. So if we want to go to Chrome, we can actually go back to Chrome. Actually, I cleared out all the apps. Didn't even realize I hit the clear it out button there. But you can navigate and multitask between all the different applications and have a lot of things running at once, which is pretty good. Now, it has a built-in 2550 milliamp hour battery inside of it. It's smaller than previous batteries, and it's also non-removable as well too. A little disappointing in that part. But battery life, it has taken a bit of a step back from previous Samsung devices, but you can still, for the most part, as long as you're not a power user, be able to get through a day on this without needing to charge. So you could probably be able to get through a normal work day. If you're a power user, you're going to be charging through the day at least once, because this definitely does lose a little bit on the battery side of things. Now, another thing to note here is that this does get kind of hot. I have to mention that, especially right around here and all around. If you're doing something really process intensive, for some reason the S6, it just kind of heats up like a hot potato. I'm not quite sure why. And you definitely can feel that when it does that. It's kind of weird. Sometimes that can happen if you accidentally hit the double click to the camera, as you can see there. Sometimes it happens that way. If it happens in your pocket, Could be heating up because of that, but for the most part, hopefully in future updates to be able to fix that to kind of tone that down a little bit. I definitely noticed that here with the S6. So that's basically what you're getting with the Samsung Galaxy S6, the standard one here. Now you do have the S6 Edge, which pretty much has all the same similar features as what you saw in here. But if you notice, it has a little bit of a curve to the display. So the same display size, 5.1 inches, but it has a curved display on each end. The reason for that is the ability to use these little Edge applications. Well, we saw on the Note 4 Edge, and it has basically Edge apps, and you can add shortcuts and things of that nature. You can add, you can see a few other things here. You can do Edge lighting, so when certain people call you, certain calls will light up. You can have the night clock show up if you want that to show up while the phone is off. And you can actually switch between different sides of the Edge. So you can be on this side or it could be on this side. So depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can have the Edge on either position, as you can see there. You can bring it up, bring it down over here. You can bring it all around, which is pretty cool. You can show all Edge, home screen, right screen. You can have it on the left side there or on the right side, just like that. But that's one of the main differences, and it's pretty cool. It does still have a pretty cool look to it. It's a little more futuristic. The edges are a little bit, feel a little bit sharp because of the Edge display. So you might not have as much grip as you can see here as you have with the standard S6. But it still has the same metal and glass design, 60 megapixel camera, octa-core Exynos processing. All the stuff that you know and familiar with that I just talked about earlier is also in here as well too. And it's a nice phone. It definitely has a unique factor, and having that Edge sort of side there, I think it's pretty cool. I think it gives it something a little bit different that you haven't seen in other phones yet. It may be on the little gimmicky side for some people, but there is some use to it, and I think some people will like that. And I think also people just like the cool factor of just having a curved display on your phone, which does look pretty cool. Now between the two of them, initially I kind of was very excited for the Edge display, but I've kind of liked the S6 a little bit better, just only because I used the Note Edge before, and I really liked all the apps that added on with that, and I wish the Edge was just a little bit more pronounced. I wish it kind of went full circle with it, and full push with it rather, and just give me a little bit more on there to do. But obviously there's some limitations there. But that is the S6 Edge. As you can see, it's pretty much your standard S6 with the Edge on the side. Now let's take a look at the S6 Active. Now the Active is exclusive to AT&T here in the United States. It's your rugged phone. It's military grade IP68. What's nice about this is Active. It's pretty much got all the exact same specs as the other S6 devices. The same octa-core processing inside of it. The cameras are the exact same, with both of them being 16 megapixel on the rear, 4K recording. The front 5 with quad HD recording. Those used to be some of the limitations that you used to get with the Active devices. They would kind of gimp some things down. You have the same display size. You have the quad HD resolution on the display, which is pretty cool. You have TouchWiz, you have Android Lollipop on here as well too. Now the things that it did lose, but it did gain something in sort of a trade-off. You don't have a fingerprint scanner here at the bottom. You have the physical buttons for home, multitasking, back. You don't have still don't have micro SD card storage. It's still not available. You can't remove the battery. It's still in there, but the battery is 3,500 milliamp hours, so this is going to be the longest lasting S6 that you can find in terms of a sort of standard size S6. A little bit bulkier device, not as thin or as sleek. You don't get that metal and glass design. Obviously, you're trading off the military grade. But if you want strong battery life, that's what you're going to get here with the S6 Active, which is pretty nice. Like I said, exclusive to AT&T. And you pretty much get all the same features. It's a more rugged phone and a larger battery. In some ways, you can think about this. This is still a pretty slim phone, considering that it is a military grade and military spec style phone. And if you put a case on your S6 or your S6 Active, you're pretty much getting close to the same size as this. So if you're on AT&T or you're considering going to AT&T, this might be the phone you might want to pick up, because you're getting pretty much everything with the exception of fingerprint scanner, which you don't have, which unfortunately kind of removes the ability to do Samsung Pay on here and a mobile payment system, because that's one of the security features that it kind of comes with. But unfortunately, this doesn't. The Active won't have that feature, it seems. But it's still a nice phone overall. And like I said, 3500 milliamp hour battery, all the same features that you had in the other ones. And basically, if you're going to buy a case, you might as well just get this one. I kind of feel there with that. So that is the S6 Active. Now, let's take a look at the latest one, the big boy here, which is the S6 Edge Plus. So basically, if you're kind of looking right now, you're like, well, these two kind of look familiar, look like each other, because realistically, the S6 Edge Plus is a bigger version of the standard S6 Edge. It pretty much has a very similar design to it as well too, but this does have a couple of unique things with it. One of them being that it does come with the same Exynos processor, but it comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM inside of it instead of 3 gigabytes, so it kind of bumped it up. It does include the same 5 megapixel camera on the front and 60 megapixel rear-facing camera on the back, same capabilities, but this actually has VDIS too, so it has the ability to have video stabilization along with the optical image stabilization for pictures. It also supports YouTube streaming, so you can actually do direct YouTube feeds from it. So if we actually go into the camera here itself, you'll notice one of the options, one of the modes will be live broadcast, and you can actually live broadcast directly from your phone if we want to. We have to re-sign in back again, but you can actually broadcast right from there straight to your YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. Sort of a kind of like a Periscope effect sort of application there if you want to use that, and it's built into the phone here itself. Hopefully YouTube kind of takes it out and kind of gives it out to everyone, because I kind of feel it needs to have a couple more settings in there that you don't quite have yet, but it's still nice to have. And you're getting a 5.7-inch display here as well. That's another difference here. Same Quad HD resolution. You have a bigger battery inside of this phone as well too, so it's going to last a little bit longer. Still non-removable on here. I believe the battery is 3,000 milliamp hours. I might be wrong there. If I'm wrong, I will correct that in an annotation or a note somewhere. But you basically will get a little bit longer battery life with this. This also doesn't heat up. Like I said, I kind of had the heat up problem with this. This doesn't have that particular issue. It still keeps things nice and cool with the same processing speed. It could be just that it's a bigger phone and there's just more space with it. You do have your fingerprint sensor, Samsung Pay. Another unique feature of this is that this phone supports fast wireless charging. Now for the most part, these three do support wireless charging with them. This one does not, but these three do. And the nice thing about this is that while these two support standard wireless charging, this supports standard and fast wireless charging on the S6 Edge Plus. You have to get a specific pad for it, but it boosts up the speed on wireless charging, which is pretty cool. Overall, I kind of like the S6 Edge Plus because I like big phones, like phablets, of course. That's kind of my thing there. And I think you just get a little bit more with it. You still get the Edge applications, which is pretty cool. And you can customize your apps out and so on. And we can actually go a little bit deeper into the settings. You can see the apps on Edge. You can do it there. You have your Edge lighting, screen position. You can choose specific notifications that you want to show with it. You have the People Edge, pretty cool. We see you can have your information stream. We can manage different feeds if we want to, so you can see different feeds that can show up on here, similar to what we have on this one and on the Note Edge as well too. All the little different feeds you can add. You can download more feeds if you want to from the Samsung store, which is pretty cool. But I really like the S6 Edge Plus. Now, it's very similar to the Galaxy Note. Obviously, it has very similar specs. I kind of wish that they made the Galaxy Note like this, because I really do like the curved display, and having that S Pen with it would be really cool at the same time. But if you're looking for a big screen phone that's unique and it's different from everyone else, and having that Edge is a pretty cool factor, which having it be a bigger phone actually makes this Edge a little bit better to grip on, is pretty cool. Then the S6 Edge Plus is for you. So that's pretty much all of them here. Let's see if we can get all the screens on all at the same time. We'll unlock this one here, and you can kind of see between all of them. Realistically, the S6 family is pretty large, and they all have different use case scenarios. If you're looking for a very standard phone just to get the job done, I think the S6 is good for you there. If you want something a little more unique, the S6 Edge Plus is where you want to go. If you're looking for something that's more rugged and you want long battery life, the S6 Active is definitely where you want to do. And if you want something that's kind of all around, that's going to give you everything, and it's going to give you a little bit bigger screen, the S6 Edge Plus is going to be the one to go with. So that's pretty much the quick overview here. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I like all these phones here. I think the S6 family is doing pretty good. I hope in the future they add the ability to get Micro SD card storage is one of my caveats about that. It's a little disappointing. A little disappointing that these all had a bit of these down here have a bit of a smaller battery. A little disappointing on that there. But overall, very, very good phones coming from Samsung. I definitely think you'll find a premium selection here. So this is Bowman here from BW1. Post your comments, questions below. Let me know what you think. Which one of these would you get? That's what I'm going to ask you there. Which one of these would you prefer? Would you like something different? Post your comments below. Let me know what you think. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. Thumb this video up if you liked it. And be sure to connect with us on all the social networks. And always remember to live your tech world in high definition. Thanks for watching. Go look at these lilacs here. So we can focus in on one. There we go.